When you're greasing equipment, it's never fun to run around with the old style pump grease guns. This is the electric battery powered grease gun from DCK. The nice folks over at DCK sent this over to me for an honest and unbiased review. So what's in the box? First off, beautiful case, nice, protective of everything. You've got your instruction manuals and operating information. Comes with 2 batteries, which is going to be really nice if you're out there doing some heavy equipment and you've got a lot of things that need to be greased. You won't run out of power with this guy. Now, comes with a shoulder sling, so that way you can throw this over your shoulder and walk to wherever you're headed. It also comes with the battery charger. It's also worth noting that the case has a nice bottom in here that keeps everything separate. Comes with a charger. Also comes with, this is a grease Zerk adapter that basically lets you just open it up, stuff it on, and let up. And it clamps hold of that Zerk so you're able to grease it nicely. That little blue rubber gasket is supposed to seal against the head of the Zerk, and then it just squirts grease right in. And then 2 batteries, like I said. Come on. The carrying case does hold on rather nicely. You've got the grease gun itself. It's got a couple little pockets here, so that way you can stuff the end in and not get grease all over everything. So I think we got to charge the battery up and take a look at this. So before we go loading this thing up with grease, some of the features that I like, you squeeze the trigger and a light comes on. That's darn nice if you're ever, under cars, under equipment, you need a little bit extra light to see where you're going. Granted, it's kind of angled down at the ground, so if you just set it down, you're never going to see what you're working on. But it's nice to have something. It's a lot better than nothing in those dark places. This has got a rather long grease cord, so you could grease something a long ways away. And it's got a couple of little holders on both sides. You're able to set the nozzle, back in there and not get grease all over everything. Now, on the back side, you've got a little display here that you're able to choose between low and high pressure or speed settings on the greasing. So you can choose if you want a lot of grease or not so much. Something smaller like your everyday cars may not need the high pressure stuff, but if you're dealing with heavy equipment, that high may be the thing that fills up those voids just fine. Other things I do like, that rubberized grip is really nice because, let's face it, it's a grease gun. You're going to be getting greasy when you're doing this stuff, and that's very positive. It's not going anywhere. It's got a couple little rings so that way you can attach the shoulder strap and throw it over your shoulder, though I would definitely be careful because it is a grease gun after all. So I think the next step, take the hopper off and get a tube of grease put in this thing. So if anyone knows me, you know that this is my least favorite part of grease guns. Okay, when you pull it out, it's got a nice little detent, so that when you pull it out, lock it in place, and that gives us room to loosen the canister here. And it's worth knowing that it does have a fair few threads, because you don't want this leaking all over the place. Come on. Tell you what, let's take this guy out of the way. Go sit over there. There we go. Nicely machined. Always double check up the inside. Let's just do a quick look at this, and I may regret this, but let's take a look at the plunger. Nice plunger there. Hey, I didn't regret my decisions. So, up on the inside, it's got a nice filtery screen that keeps junk from getting too in the way. You can, it looks like, yeah, you can take that out and clean it if you ever needed to, but that keeps things safe from debris. All right. I have a nondescript tube of red grease here. Okay, we're going to set that in this way. And this does take just the normal grease container. This is the part that I always find nerve-wracking, because you do it wrong, you wind up with grease all over the floor. There was one time I was doing this with my dad, and it came undone, and we shot a whole pile of grease all over the floor. That was an unfun day. The curse of a bunch of threads. Okay. The moment of truth. Here we go. All right. I got a paper towel here. Let's pull the trigger. Wow. That was sweet. And that was on the high setting, by the way. Let's see what the low setting does. Much more appropriate level of greasing. That's cool. I think we got to grease something now. All right, we're just going to grab hold of a couple of the grease fittings that are easiest to grab a hold of. This is under my El Camino. We're just going to start here at the outer tie rod. Just clean that up a little bit. Oh, yuck. Okay. We're just going to pop that guy right on. Ooh, that was a little much. Very easy to get carried away. Oh no. Just like that. While we're here, let's grab a couple more. This one's easy to get a hold of. All right. Okay, that was like many times easier of getting this job done than I expected. So, this is always a job that I hate doing. I like taking care of my stuff, but I always hate the greasing part. But that makes very quick, easy, short work of this whole process. So, this grease gun from DCK, this is freaking cool.